in this video, we are going to get started with epic product photography. As we are all continuing to sit at home, we have an opportunity to try different things. And for those of us who may prefer to do photography outside and out of the studio, maybe street photography, landscape photography, event photography, things like that, we can't do all of those things right now. And so we have to be able to pivot and shift gears and try things at home. And if you're watching this not in 2020, then I hope you're able to do those things and you can still get something out of this video in terms of at-home product photography. So thinking about how to make photos at home, I wanted to try making epic product photography of very simple things, things that are within arm's reach of where I am right now. I literally did not take anything from outside of this room to take photos of. And even with the setup, which we'll get into in a little bit, is pretty simple. And so as we jump in, as we take some of these photos and I show you what we're able to make today, I hope you can see how simple this can be, that if there's some products or a brand that you want to work with, that you want to reach out to and say, hey, I love your product, I want to be able to highlight that and provide you with the images you may need for any marketing of that product, that you can do that from your own home. And so with that out of the way, let's jump into actually making these photos and see what we can do. All right, welcome to the setup. This is a relatively simple setup for what we are trying to accomplish. We have one constant video light that is just going to be straight top down to our surface. And that surface today is a simple stool that I think I got for less than 20 bucks at Target. And then we have our backdrop, which is again a black backdrop. These are going to be very simple to try and get that cinematic or epic vibes. We don't want anything too crazy, anything distracting in the background. Just going to be a simple black background so that it's really not there to the viewer's eye at all. So I'm going to be placing a couple of different items here on my surface or stool. And I have the Fuji X-T3 with the 16 2.8. And really with that wide angle, we're going to be able to make these objects really look bigger than they are. And that's what we want them to be, is epic, right? They want to be in your face and over the top and really say, I'm here to make a statement. So we're going to run through a couple of different items here on the platform and see what we can come up with. These are things I literally have not left this room. So this is something you can do as well. Figure out what you have at home, figure out what lens you might have. For me, I am using a wide angle. A lot of you with a newer iPhone or a lot of Android phones as well have an ultra wide lens, so you can start there. I'm sure you can find a light that is top down in some way, jerry rig it from whatever you have at home. I believe in you. Remember, this is all about just getting started, experimenting, and figuring out what you can do. So with that, I'm gonna get started. So first up, we're going to go with the classic Coca-Cola can. This is a mini can, so it doesn't look quite the same. And I think this is going to be an instance where this is exactly what we need for this moment in terms of the lens and trying to make it look bigger. Because this is mini, this isn't even the normal size. We want this to look big and grand. And I do have to say, I'm sorry, Mom. I know that, you work for Pepsi. It's just what we have. I apologize. So yeah, so I'm gonna probably slide this up a little bit forward. I'm gonna get set, and I have a reflection off of this surface, off the stool, just because it has a little bit of shine to it. So one, make sure you don't have dust. You don't really want that in your photos. But slide this up. You're getting a little bit of shine here, and we're just gonna go for it. So zooming in, not really zooming in, you know what I mean, getting nice and close. Make sure you got focus right on the can. You want to have a little, just the slightest angle up, because when you look up, it obviously looks bigger than you. And so we want to have that perspective regardless of the size of the item. All right, I think that's it for our first item. Next up are some very simple and cheap sunglasses. This is saying that we can take anything and make it look epic. These are literally sunglasses that we got at a cousin's wedding as just like part of being at the wedding in 2016. So these are nothing, these aren't like Ray-Bans or any Oakleys or whatever the cool expensive sunglasses are these days. So we're going to again prop those up. In this one thing to be aware of, if you have a reflective surface on the item, that you aren't in the reflection. So I'm seeing myself in the lens of the sunglasses. Obviously I don't want to be in this photo, so I'm going to just have to make sure that they're angled right to where I'm not in the photo. And in this case, I have a couple of options in terms of focusing, but for me, I'm going to go right there on the front point, right on this corner right here. So I'm going to get some of this text in focus, but then it'll blur off as you go back. One thing also I'm noticing is the back arm of the glasses is coming through the lens. You can see that, and so I'm going to try and line that up a little bit better so that's not distracting. So it means I am looking down on it, which is against what I just said with the Coke can, but you have to make sure and do what works for each item. All right, and that is it for the sunglasses. Now this, what looks like to be a cauldron, is actually a candle holder. We got this on a trip to the Middle East a couple years ago, and I just really love the colors of it. So I want something to be able, this light coming down in is going to highlight a lot of those colors. As you can see, if I block that light, it gets a little bit more dull, but this lighting is really going to make this item pop. Really gonna keep doing what we're doing. This is something that you can use a little bit of a rhythm and really make this into a machine, or what am I looking for? Conveyor belt. That's what I'm looking for. Conveyor belts. In terms of if you're doing product photography, if there's a style of photography that you're trying to do, and just swapping out the items really makes it easy and efficient, so that if you're doing this for a client, you're maximizing your time, and whatever the fee is that you're getting paid, you're going to be able to maximize that profit. Now with this item, it's a little taller, so if I were to just try and take the same photo and frame that up, what's going to end up happening is I'm getting the light in the top of the frame. And what we really want is the focus to be on the item or product that we're taking the photo of. And so in this case, I'm going to have to slide the light up and readjust a little bit to make sure that I'm getting the photo that I want. All right, so now that we have the light a little bit higher, we can go ahead and try and take a photo of this water bottle, which is obviously a little taller. So this one is pretty special to me. This was a gift that I got from my grandfather in high school, I believe, maybe even middle school. But he gave me and my brother these full sets of golden playing cards of baseball players. My brother got a lot of the modern players at the time, and I got a lot of the former players from decades and decades ago. In this case, we have the classic Babe Ruth. And again, they're golden, so we need to be aware of the reflection and shine that we're going to get off of the light from above. I've just thrown a little cup behind it that's basically just there to hold it up. It's not doing anything for the photo, but we're going to see what we get, and again, try and avoid some of the glare. And I can already tell that I'm seeing myself and some of my skin tones in the reflection, so I'm going to have to really be careful with how I'm framing this shot. Welcome back. I hope you're able to see how simple of a setup that was, and that you can use various gear and things around the house to really make something truly spectacular. So let me know what you're able to make by tagging me on Twitter and Instagram at I'm Aaron Ross. Give this video a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't already, check out the videos in the end card, and remember, just getting started.